After 82 years of living, I've learned something very quietly painful about love. Sometimes the person who loves you is also the person who can unknowingly hurt you the deepest, not through cruelty, but through knowing too much about the parts of you that were never protected carefully enough. And that's why I want to talk about something people rarely say out loud. There are some questions in relationships that sound harmless in the beginning, but answering them too openly can slowly create distance, misunderstanding, tension, or silent resentment between two people who genuinely care about each other. Love needs honesty, yes, but it also needs emotional wisdom. My name is Evelyn Hart, and I want to share 5 kinds of questions I learned to answer very carefully, even with the person I love deeply. The first kind of question is about your past mistakes. Sometimes a partner asks, "What's the worst thing you ever did in a relationship?" Or, "Did you ever love someone more than me?" Now, of course, honesty matters, but I learned there's a difference between honesty and reopening old emotional rooms that no longer serve the present. When I was younger, one of my friends told her husband every painful detail about an old relationship, every heartbreak, every mistake, every emotional memory. She thought complete openness would create closeness. But instead, years later, during arguments, those old stories kept returning. Small comments would appear. "So maybe you'll leave like you left before. Maybe you still miss him." The past stopped being the past. Some things should stay respectfully buried once healing has already happened. The second kind of question is about your deepest insecurities. Questions like, what do you hate most about yourself? What makes you feel weak? What hurts you the most emotionally? In loving moments, people often answer these questions very openly because they feel safe. But emotional safety can change during difficult seasons. I remember a woman telling her partner how ashamed she felt about aging and no longer feeling beautiful. Months later, during a painful argument, he said carelessly, "You're insecure about everything anyway." He apologized afterward. He didn't mean to wound her so deeply, but once certain insecurities are exposed, they can become fragile places inside the relationship. Not every private fear needs to be handed fully into someone else's hands. The third kind of question is about money, savings, or financial history. Now, practical honesty in relationships is important, but there's a difference between responsible communication and complete exposure of every private financial detail too early or too emotionally. I've seen couples slowly lose peace because one person began quietly judging the other's spending habits, savings, debts, or family responsibilities. Sometimes questions sound innocent. How much money do you really have? Who did you help financially before me? Why didn't you tell me about your savings? And suddenly, love becomes mixed with suspicion, comparison, or control. Money can change the emotional balance between two people very quickly if boundaries are not handled carefully and respectfully. The fourth kind of question is about family conflicts. Questions like, what really happened between you and your mother? Tell me every problem your family has. Who hurt you in your family? When we love someone, we naturally want to explain ourselves completely. But family pain is delicate. Years ago, I knew a man who shared every bitter story about his siblings with his wife during difficult emotional nights. Later, when family gatherings happened, she could never look at them the same way again. Even after forgiveness happened inside the family, the damage remained in her mind. Some family wounds need time, balance, and privacy, not full emotional exposure in moments of frustration. And the fifth kind of question is about old emotional regrets. Questions like, what's your biggest regret in life? Who hurt you the most? What memory still breaks your heart? These questions often arrive late at night when people feel emotionally close. But not every old wound becomes healthier by reopening it repeatedly. Sometimes revisiting certain memories only brings sadness, comparison, guilt, or emotional confusion into a peaceful relationship. I once learned that silence can protect love just as much as words can. You do not owe every detail of your emotional history to prove that your love is real. A healthy relationship is not built by exposing every scar. It's built by trust, kindness, emotional restraint, and knowing which parts of yourself deserve privacy, even inside love. Because after many years of living, I've quietly learned this. Love does not always require complete access to every painful memory, every insecurity, or every hidden corner of your heart. Some things can remain gently protected, not out of dishonesty, but out of wisdom, peace, and emotional care for both people.